2, 3, 4.
Hey guys, good morning. Yep, you're right. It's very early. Sun's not completely up yet, and that is why it's dark. You guys know that sometimes I like to do videos from Cut or Jubilee. They deal with social issues or just issues that we deal in everyday life. And sometimes they just deal with people in general. How we interact with one another, stereotypes that we have about one another. And I just really like how they deal with them. And sometimes they're just funny, but they are always a discussion point. And so I'd like to do one of those videos now. What's interesting about this video is that first of all, let me tell you about the subject matter of this video. This is one of the cut. We've done lineup before, I believe, and then we've done middle ground before, but we have not done parents explain before. This will be one of our first. And this is parents, this particular one is Black parents explain how to deal with the cops. So basically, all of these parents explain videos, it is parents explaining to their children how to deal with certain things or certain situations. They did this particular subject in season 1 of Parents Explain. What's interesting about this is that this was the episode 12 that they did. And they got a very good, I think it took in, it's almost over 2 million people watched it. And they got definitely more likes than they did dislikes on it. They brought it back again. It is a mother talking to her daughter, by the way. They brought her teenage daughter. Now, I haven't watched it, by the way. This is just by looking at the thumbnail and the description of it. Now, they brought it back 2 episodes later on episode 14. It brought in it brought in less people. Less people watched it. And there were actually, I think, 10,000 people liked it and 15,000 people didn't like it. So, like I said, I have no idea about the videos. I haven't watched either one of them. What I do find interesting, though, is that they never brought, and this time it was a father talking to, I correct myself, this time it was a father talking to his little girl. What I do find interesting about it, though, in both cases, is they didn't have someone talking to their son. And if you are at all part of a community of color, you know that it is definitely more of an issue for boys than it is for girls. I myself know this because I raised 2 boys in this community, and it was a discussion I had to have with my boys when they were younger. It's not an easy discussion to have. And you pray every time your children leave the house, especially once they hit about middle school age on up. Even now that they're young men. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get it. I mean, I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe they switch up parents during the video. I'm not sure. And maybe it's the same parents and children throughout the entire video. But we won't know till we watch it. So, let's go ahead and get it.
I'm Brianna. This is my mother.
Hi, I'm Roshonda.
Are you comfortable just telling her directly how you feel she should act around police?
Oh, see, now I'm getting emotional.
Why are you getting emotional, Mom?
Oh my God, she's already making me cry. Ooh, we can get through this together, Rashonda. Okay.
Are you worried about me?
I would hate for anything to happen to you. There's a lot going on in the world. And there's a lot of bad police officers.
I know.
There's good police officers. There's good police officers. And my fear is that you run across one of those bad ones. If you run across a police officer, please do everything that you're supposed to do and everything that he requests. If he tells you to stop, stop.
Oh, baby.
If he tells you to be quiet, be quiet. Do everything that you can to get back to me. And also remember, though, there's good cops out there too, Brianna. So don't always assume that all of them are bad.
But all you see on the news and in newspapers, and people say that all of them are bad, but they're trying to protect us.
Right. And they assume that you're bad. They assume that you've just robbed a bank. They assume that the worst of you, but don't always think that they're all bad. They're not all bad. Don't be scared to call them or get help from them.
I'm not afraid to ask them for help.
But if anybody, any officer comes up to you, baby, please put your hands up. Just follow instructions. I was driving to work. I had my hood on because it was cold. And I was pulled over by a police officer.
It was the black hood, right?
I don't remember. It was a hoodie. And he pulled me over, and I was so scared. And I asked him, I was so scared, why did you pull?
I'm sorry. Just give me a minute, okay? Just sitting here watching this little girl cry. I mean, her mother hasn't even told her a story, a bad story about, I mean, her mother had, just back this up a minute, because her mother hasn't even said to her whether police officers are bad or good, and tears are streaming down this girl's face just because what she hears on the news, what she knows about her community, what she's probably had friends whose fathers and brothers are incarcerated. She probably knows, I mean, we all know of someone who, has left this world too soon, or who has been treated unfairly or beat up. And this is so hard for me because I was in law enforcement for over 22 years, and I have that dichotomy where I know that there are bad, I think I've said this before, there are so many good ones. The problem is that those few bad ones, they abuse their power, and they abuse it on all people of color, on everyone who has been on all the disenfranchised communities, and the people that they think won't fight back or won't report it.
Pull me over. So don't always assume that all of them are bad.
But all you see on the news.
Look at her face, man. It breaks my heart. It's different because, with my boys, it was like, they're not going to sit there and cry in front of me. They're going to just ask questions. They're going to be, my boys will show anger. And I think boys show anger as a way of masking their sadness or whatever. But girls, they'll straight out and they'll cry with you,
And in newspapers, and people say that all of them are bad, but they're trying to protect us.
Right. And they assume that you're bad. They assume that you've just robbed a bank. They assume that the worst of you, but don't always think that they're all bad. They're not all bad. Don't be scared to call them or get help from them.
I'm not afraid to ask them for help.
But if anybody, any officer comes up to you, baby, please put your hands up. Just follow instructions. I was driving to work. I had my hood on because it was cold, and I was pulled over by a police officer.
It was the black hood, right?
I don't remember. It was a hoodie, and he pulled me over, and I was so scared. And I asked him, I was so scared, why did you pull me over? I'm going the speed limit. And he asked me, why are you in this area? Why are you in this neighborhood? I'm a pastry chef. I start work early. Okay, so he got my information and he went to the back of his vehicle. He sat in his vehicle for like 5-10 minutes. I'm getting late to work. I opened my door. He started yelling at me, get back in the car. So I closed the door. He looked and saw I was clean. I had no tickets. I had nothing on me, but he still kept sitting in his car. And finally he came in his car, tossed me my stuff and told me to go to work and left. And I remember sitting there, I was so scared. I've been pulled over for no reason.
You were innocent.
I was innocent. But again, baby, I stayed calm. Don't get upset. Don't get sassy. Why did you pull me over? Just follow instructions and stay calm.
Okay.
Why would a police officer assume that you did something bad?
Maybe because of my skin color.
Is there anything wrong with your skin color?
No, people make assumptions about people. Some people are bad.
Just because of their skin color?
Maybe there are racist people out here, out in the world.
There is.
Who make assumptions about you that aren't even true.
Yeah. It's about teaching our children, again, what to do and what not to do when a police officer stops you.
Do you ever fear for your daughter's life?
I do. She's coming at the age where she wants to go to the mall and she wants to go to the movies with friends. That scares me. You're supposed to celebrate this time in your child's life. Sometimes I'm scared when she's not with me, because when she's with me, I can protect her. Because of the world that we live in now, there's some things that you're supposed to be excited about I'm not excited about. I'm scared.
I didn't know that.
If you're at the mall and you see a police officer hitting someone, they're handcuffed, what would you do?
Honestly, not to be mean or anything, I would walk away.
You would walk away?
To make sure that I was protected and safe, and they wouldn't handcuff me and put me on the ground and beat me up.
It's difficult to say not do anything, but I hear your point as well. Just get out of the way and get home safe. Ooh, that's a tough one. Wow. I was surprised by her response. And there's a part of me, good job. And then there's another part, wow, that person needs help though.
Yeah, it's like, what do you tell your children to do in those circumstances? I've always told my boys, don't stand for injustice and stuff, but at the same time, always make sure that you're safe and taken care of. So I guess in that situation, I would say, first and foremost, especially my oldest son, because my oldest son has always been the type that stands up for the little guy, and my son is not a little man. He, even in high school, he's played football his entire life, actually went to college on a full football scholarship, and I think, so he's always been like 6'3", 6'4", and when he was actively playing football, he was around, he fluctuated between like 265 and 275. He was a defensive lineman, and that wasn't fat either. He was like solid. He was like a solid muscle, solid man, big man, even in, and that's high school, and then when he went to college. But so that's even more intimidating, right, for the police officer. And so I guess my advice to him, because he would be the one who would try to step in and say, hey, what are you doing? That's not right. And get himself into trouble. So for him especially would be, and I think I probably gave him this advice, is, yeah, you see something like that, leave, make sure you see what you're seeing from a safe distance, but then leave, get yourself to safety, and then make the phone call to say, you then call 911 or whoever it is you need to call to say, hey, this is going on and this isn't right, and, something needs to be done about this. But your first priority is always, always your own safety. And, because it is, you don't have to do nothing, but by walking away. And you see that people take video, people take video on their phones from a safe distance away. People have called from a safe distance away. I mean, yeah, your number one priority is your safety. Leave the area. Make sure you're safe for her. Make sure she gets home, or her friend's parents' car, or however she got there, her car, and then make the call to make sure that everything is being taken care of. I don't know, but that's my advice, and the advice I gave my kids. Get someplace safe, make sure you're safe, and then you make the phone calls you need to make to rectify that situation.
I'm sorry, I'm looking on the bright side, hoping that it will get better.
And I love that. I've always loved that about you.
I didn't realize it was going to be hard for me, but I just realized how hard it would be.
One day, it could get better one day. But now, no. The police aren't being policed, so no. They get off easy constantly. Why is it so easy for them to get off?
I don't understand.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, so this video is 2 years old. And in the last 2 years, there have not only been even more shootings and incidents with the police, but there has also, in the last 2 years, been a number of police officers and first responders shot and killed by the public. Some of them have even been led into, I know you guys know this, have been led into ambush type situations and killed. So on both sides, I mean, I'm not taking score, but the fact that we even have to have this conversation with our children is just fucking ridiculous, right? I mean, we should be able to just tell our children that, just, go outside and play until the lights come on, and then make sure your ass is in the house for dinner. I mean, right? Why is it that we can't say, God damn, because where are our kids safe? I mean, if my kids grew up in the neighborhoods that I grew up, in Detroit, and some of the neighborhoods, once we moved to California, you got to deal with the neighborhood, and then you got to deal with the police on top of that. Where is there to turn to? What's safe? In a lot of cases, even your home isn't safe. My mom didn't have to worry about stuff like that because, I haven't been outdoors in a very long time, so I look wicked pale, but before I got sick, and I'm outdoors all the time, and especially in the summertime, I'm actually really quite dark, but, still on the lighter side of things, and So I'm what you call I pass, right? But yeah, my boys don't, especially my oldest son. I say very dark skinned. He's light skinned, but you can definitely tell he's not Caucasian. You wouldn't check off the Caucasian box for him. I respect that mom. I like her. I like her personality. But I understand her fears and I feel her heart. And my heart was breaking for that little girl. So anyway, I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but I do know that I wanted to post it when it came up. And it's just taken me a little while to record it because I knew it was going to hit my heart because, it is something that, needs to be done. And it's a shame that we need to do that in this country in this day and age. It's fucking preposterous. At any rate, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like, comment, and respond. Like, comment, and respond. Like, comment, and subscribe. And, yeah. You guys take care of each other because no one else is going to.